Good morning. Welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Wednesday, March the 11th. We're here to look at the new releases that are published this week. Wednesdays we look at the darker side. We look at crime fiction and thrillers. There are not a whole lot of them, but we will look at each and every one of them this week. Other announcements, no sprints tonight. I don't do them on Wednesday night. Our next sprints are on Thursday, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. They go for 2 hours. And then again on Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. and that one goes for 5 hours. Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Did I say that right? Mary says, good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday, hump day. Indeed. Yesterday we hit 89. Holy moly. Gonna be a hot, dry summer, methinks. I definitely think there's a possibility there. We are on the cooler side yesterday. Today and tomorrow we're supposed to be warmer, but then it's winter again starting Friday in the 30s. So we continue to do the yo-yo. Well, let's take a look. And it's weird to say March, but Mary, stay cool. You're always cool. First up, The Shadow Carver by Nadine Matheson. That's a ominous cover. When a convicted killer is released and later found brutally murdered, D.I. Henley and the Serial Crimes Unit are pulled into a deadly investigation with the links to other recent attacks. All the victims are connected by the vicious signature left behind by the killer. Henley and her team begin to connect the dots between the killings and realize the murders are part of something more sinister. Each victim has been chosen with a deadly precision, their deaths carved out with a shocking cruelty. There's a lot of sharp kind of language, and there's the razor blade. I think there's nasty things in this book. As the rampage continues and the case spirals into a terrifying hunt for the killer, the line between predator and prey begins to blur. Henley and the SCU are running out of time. Can they outsmart a monster before they strike again? It sounds like this is a series, but it's not saying how many books there are in this series. I don't know. The Liar's Treasure by Connie Mann, second in a Speranza Team novel series. It is a Speranza Team novel. Camille Abernathy ignored rumors of the Liar's Treasure and her family's connection to it until someone put a target on her daughter's back. Growing up in New Orleans, such tall tales were as common as beignets and gumbo, but when Camille's teenage daughter, Cass, posts pictures of a century-old diary her uncle gave her, she unwittingly attracts dozens of treasure-hunting fanatics who are convinced Cass and the diary can lead them to a valuable cache. To keep her daughter safe, Camille enlists the help of Speranza, a secret society always ready to help women in need. Together they set out on a globe-trotting journey to find the Liar's Treasure while also investigating a suspicious death related to Camille's childhood friend. The deeper they dig, the more they suspect it's all connected. Chasing clues from New Orleans to Italy to the Bahamas, Camille and her friends receive unexpected assistance and unwanted competition from a handsome treasure hunter from Camille's past. Then Cass is kidnapped, and finding the treasure truly becomes a matter of life and death. This says this is a clean contemporary adventure with an international treasure hunt plot. I think the author wanted to go visit those places and said, you know what, I'll set a book in these places so I can go research and write it off. Marie says the Carver part suggests bad things for sure. Yeah, they weren't being very sneaky about it. Excuse me. The Last Celebrity by Madeline Henry. In front of a sold-out crowd at Madison Square Garden, a pop star is kidnapped by a new vigilante group called the Nomen. They leave behind a chilling manifesto leveled against the cult of celebrity and the names of 49 other rising stars about to disappear forever. Best-selling author Fiona Hart is on the list. One by one, targets vanish without a trace. Fiona can't shake the feeling that her every move on a public street or even in the privacy of her own apartment is being watched. Though the world may be gripped by fear, Fiona refuses to let it destroy her. Then her friend, popular shoe designer Gwen Gordon, goes among the missing. Really? You would care about a shoe designer? And time is running out for Fiona. As she unravels the Gnomons' true and twisted motivations, the last celebrity in hiding will risk anything to save herself and those she loves. It has an interesting premise. But you're getting into like shoe designers? Seriously? Just saying. Oh, the snark is in not full bloom, but it's blooming. The Dark Time by Nick Petrie, 9th in the Peter Ash series. At the suggestion of his girlfriend, June, Peter Ash rides to the aid of an investigative reporter who may have stumbled on a story more explosive than even he can handle in this propulsive new thriller, blah blah blah. Caitlin Thorson, known as KT to her friends and enemies, why does it matter? They always do that in these summaries. Is an independent journalist who receives a very specific death threat. Fortunately, Peter Ash has arrived in town to protect KT at the request of his girlfriend, June Cassidy. And what's her name? From the moment of his arrival, he's thrown into a maelstrom of violence trying to protect KT and her daughter and discover the source of the death threat. Even after June and Peter's best friend Lewis arrives in Seattle to help, this challenge may be too much for them, with enormous consequences should they fail. I mean, I like the cover, but... End of row 1. Shoe designer, says Mary. Who even thinks of that occupation as a mystery plot? Apparently that author did. Maybe contacted shoe designers and said, hey, I don't think of a shoe designer as a celebrity. But, you know, I'm not that kind of person. She Fell Away by Lenore Nash. Lake Harlow may not appear to be your typical State Department diplomat. With the number of skeletons in her closet exceeding the tattoos on her skin, she moves to a new country every few years to keep one step ahead of her personal demons. After 2 grueling years working in Cambodia, Lake's desperate for a break and a new posting to sleepy Wellington, New Zealand seems like a dream come true. That is, until 18-year-old singer-songwriter Bowie mysteriously vanishes shortly after American NFL player Bruce Walter is found dead in his hotel room. An exchange student from Las Vegas, Bowie was a world away from her possessive, washed-up stage mom who won't stop calling until Lake finds her superstar daughter. All at once, Lake finds herself ensnared in a network of deception involving Bowie's high-profile host family, a shadowy music producer, a casino magnate, and the U.S. ambassador, her boss. Obsessed with finding the truth, Lake soon realizes that to find the missing girl, she must confront her own dark past in this unputdownable thriller, blah, blah, blah. She fell away. Lisa Unger has a new one in the thriller category. Served Him Right. Sounds like you should be singing He Had It Coming. A pacey thriller. Anna Blacksmith has gathered her closest friends and sister Vera for a brunch to celebrate her recent breakup from her boyfriend Paul. But when shocking news about Paul arrives, all eyes are on Anna, the angry ex with a bad reputation. Suspicions only intensify when Anna's best friend falls deathly ill after the brunch. But Anna is not the only one who had a score to settle with Paul. As the investigation unfolds, rumors of a secret network that uses ancient methods to obtain justice begin to emerge. Vengeance is sweet, but it can also be deadly. Anna and Vera are determined to find the truth before Anna takes the fall and their own long-buried history comes to light. Oh, that's an action figure type of cover. Red Empire by Jonathan Mayberry, 5th in the Rogue Team International series. Hundreds of years after the first waves of the bubonic plague swept through Europe, a new, more dangerous version threatens London. Take it. Joe Ledger's old enemy, the Red Empire, reborn as a far more powerful political and military group, has bioengineered a weaponized version of Yersinia pestis, the bacteria responsible for the Black Death that killed tens of millions in the Middle Ages. As Joe Ledger and Rogue Team International race against the clock to put a stop to the Red Empire's plans, they're sucked into the strange and mysterious past of the man called Mr. Church. Secrets come to light that make even his staunchest allies wonder who, and more precisely what, Church really is. With whispers of an elixir vitae, or elixir of life, circling, Joe Ledger and Rogue Team International are facing the highest possible stakes in their work together yet. As the tension builds and the balance between life and death sways precariously, it seems like tragic losses among them might be inevitable. Oh, that sounds fun. That sounds like a Garbagus book. That sounds like a Doc Savage kind of book. I might have to put that on a list of possibles for Garbagus. Oh, El Cosimano has a new one in her Finlay Donovan series. This is book 6. Finlay Donovan crosses the line. Life hasn't been easy for Finlay Donovan lately. It's just got a whole lot harder. Her nanny and partner in crime, Vero, has been extradited from Virginia to Maryland, where she's facing criminal charges for a theft she swears she didn't commit. A prisoner to an ankle bracelet as she awaits her trial, Vero is forced to live her overbearing... Wait a minute. They moved the date on us. It's going to be next week. They did that to my Charles Todd book, too. Stick a pin in that one. The new Charles Todd was supposed to be released yesterday, and I had cleared the decks for it, got all my books done so I could focus on it. Pushed back to next week. So forget that. It's like jury instructions. Pretend you didn't hear that. Even Gods Bleed by Dale M. Nelson, 4th in the Gage Files. Julian Kessler, the visionary CEO of Nova AI, has pushed the boundaries of artificial intelligence, blurring the lines between human and machine. But progress comes at a price, and Kessler has made enemies, one closer than he realizes. And when a ruthless smear campaign threatens to destroy his reputation, he turns to ex-CIA officer turned private investigator Matt Gage to uncover who's orchestrating his downfall and why. Going undercover as a consultant, Gage soon realizes that Nova AI's boardroom is a nest of hidden agendas. Some of the most powerful figures in the country have a vested interest in Kessler's ruin, and the deeper Gage looks, the more it becomes clear this is more than just corporate sabotage. Then the first body drops. Now in the crosshairs of a murder investigation, Gage finds himself caught between the police, a killer determined to keep him quiet, and a fight for control over a technology that could reshape the world. With his client's fate, and his own neck, on the line, he'll have to dust off the spycraft skills he thought he left behind, because in this game, the only way out is to play it better than the rest. Now, this would be a good contender for Spy versus Spy, maybe. And some Garbagus, but that would be more Spy versus Spy. He says, I like Charles Todd generally. Yeah, and I'm very happy there's a new book. You know, they were a writing team, and the mother passed away a couple years ago. So I'm very pleased that he's decided to continue. And the new one was supposed to be out yesterday. And I'm pouting. A True Kill by Stephen Konkoly. Konkoly? That's a fun one. 3rd in the Garrett Mann series. FBI agent Garrett Mann is running out of time. His task force, Artemis, is on the verge of disbandment, but he's uncovered a sinister plot that could swing the upcoming presidential election. With a trail leading from Washington, D.C. to rural Montana, and finally to Tampa, Florida, Mann assembles a team of misfits. How do they know about that? And Black Ops specialists to take on a shadowy conspiracy involving the CIA, a covert government contractor, and a third-party political movement. As a hurricane bears down on Florida, Mann and his team launch a desperate raid on a yacht, hiding secrets that could destroy everything. With the clock ticking and enemies closing in from all sides, they must secure crucial evidence before it's too late. In this heart-pounding finale to the Garrett Mann series, the stakes have never been higher, and the cost of failure could be the very future of the nation itself. Dun dun dun. A Lie for a Lie by Ren DeStefano. Margot leads a double life that would make most people dizzy. By day, she's a seemingly ordinary interior decorator with a picture-perfect marriage. Does she wear glasses so nobody can recognize her? By night, she works for a mysterious employer known only as Mr. X. Do you get to keep your clothes on? That's all I'm asking. Her specialty, infiltrating the lives of dangerous targets, gaining their trust, and ultimately exposing their crimes. Her latest assignment, unraveling the reclusive life of Bertram Casimir, a billionaire tech CEO whose career is as mysterious as his past. His sister claims he stole her app to build his fortune. Not only that, his girlfriend may or may not have recently gone missing. Bertram sees through Margot's carefully constructed facade, matching her move for move. As the lines between hunter and prey blur, Margot finds herself unexpectedly drawn to Bertram. I knew it. They share more than she'd like to admit, a dangerous intelligence, a taste for high-stakes manipulation, because that's what you base relationships on. When the evidence begins to shift, threatening to destroy everything she knows, Margot realizes this is far more than just another job. Her hidden past and her life are now on the line. One lie remains, and it might just save her. And really, that's all we have. Mary said, I just heard that they are no longer publishing mass paperbacks. Did you know that? I did not. It would make sense, though. Nobody's really buying them. Even what surprised me when I started watching booktubers on YouTube about 4 or 5 years ago now, they prefer the physical copies. A large part of them do. They're younger generation, the big romantasy and so forth, but not exclusively that, but they prefer the physical copies, and they love those trade size floppy pages kind of books. I'm not surprised that the paper. I watched a music reactor listening to the Beatles. He's listening to every album the Beatles, because he had never heard Yesterday before, for God's sakes. He's a white male in America. Where have you been? Anyway, side note. He was listening to Paperback Writer, and he said, what's a paperback? We're doomed. That's all I'm saying is, we are doomed. Mary says they say it's because they don't sell, despite who the author is. Indeed, they don't. Either people have completely switched to digital, which I have to say I am 98% there. I do buy physical copies if I want to keep them, but I don't, I read too much to afford to buy all the physical copies, and I don't necessarily want all physical copies of everything I read. So I'm, digital is easier. It's often cheaper. You get it instantaneously. And as mentioned, the younger generation like those trade size floppy physical copies. I think they only really get hardbacks, and that's probably the next to go, through like Book of the Month Club stuff. And they really love those Book of the Month Club stuff. Which when I was growing up was like, ooh, you can't even get rid of those. Mary says, they were never my favorite size, and now they are so cheap that the gutters are so narrow that it's hard to read because half of the text seems like it's in the gutter. Yeah. Yeah. And they are harder to read. I mean, the point was, we could fit a book. They used to be, all big hardbacks and so forth. And then the pocket size book was so that you could carry it around with you. And now we're even moving away from that. It's kind of sad. Technology. No, I did not hear that. Thank you for letting me know that, but I'm kind of also not surprised. Isn't it weird? What a weird time we live in. Not always good. So, what was the one I was interested in? Was it Liar's Treasure? Yeah. What was the first one? Ooh. Yeah, we're going to put that in Garb-August. That's how I remember how to do books. Anyway, that is it for today's show. That's all we had. Friday, we will have a Friday show. We'll look at the rest of the cozy mysteries that were published this week. Like cozy mysteries, I really would not want to own physical copies. Plus, so many of the cozy mystery these days, oh, you got me on a soapbox here, used to be not fluffy. Now they're fluffy and under 200 pages. Who would want a physical copy of that? How would you even? They're like, some of them are just like 136 pages. If I ruled the world. Anyway, live from my soapbox. Hope you guys have a good Wednesday. Be safe. Absolutely be safe. We're hitting tornado season for a lot of areas, so everybody please be safe. Mary, stay cool. Read good books, and hope you are having a good day. Again, I don't have any sprints tonight. Our next sprints are tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Mary says, thanks so much. Always fun. Yes, they are fluffy. No real meat in them or plot. Indeed. Indeed. It's like, really spend more time and put these 3 books that you wrote in a month for 130 pages into one, and you'd have a good story. Never mind. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Om lom lom. Have a good day. God bless.